Welcome back to Retro Wednesday at the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike, and today I want to talk to you about the different vintage Star Wars cases. Now, recently I've had to get this collection out, condense figures down, less cases because I had, long story short, moved a bunch of couches around for the wife for Christmas, put the two good ones in the living room, and then I ended up with a nicer one, a bigger one in my man room, my office. So it's bigger, so I have less spaces to store these Darth Vader cases and stuff, but got me thinking though, might as well make a video about these cases since I got it all out, was condensing it all down, and we'll talk about this, all the cases, even the ones that aren't in front of you, coming up. First thing I want to say is, okay, I'm not going to change this mat. I got another Transformer review to do right after this, but looking at this, there's the soft cases, and I will tell you that if you find someone's collection and they've stored it in the soft case, I think it is the best way to preserve your figures, and it is also harder to get some of these other ones. So the Star Wars one, you see it all of the time. You see Star Wars cases all the time. They're real easy to get your hands on, and with that, I'll show you how they double as figure stands too. That's kind of fun. The Empire and the Return of the Jedi ones. Now those are a little harder to get, and this glare, I use a super bright white, so it gets a bit of a glare on it, so kind of get it at an angle and it won't glare. Now these have a picture inside, and then there's an overlay of a clear sheet over that with kind of a cardboard panel inside of a vinyl. I guess that's the best way to explain what this is, but this is the Empire one. It's all pretty much the same thing, except it has a different color on the inside. We'll open them all up and see, and then you get the Jedi. But the Jedi one is actually the most rare. So when you think about like carded figures, Return of the Jedi, if a figure was on a Star Wars card, the Jedi card is the least valuable because there's more produced, more quantity produced, and probably less opened. So the Return of the Jedi. When it comes to an AT-AT, boxed AT-ATs, boxed Millennium Falcons, there are less of those produced because for whatever reason they just produced less of those. Now getting into this case, they did the same thing. They just made less because there's already the other cases in existence. So let's go ahead and open this one up, and then you're gonna get to see that you have a tray, which is red. Now I'm afraid that this red bleeds, although I do have some, and mine is not in the greatest condition. This was like a $200 case when I was tracking mine down. I paid $50. But I just wanted to have all three cases, and I finally did get it. You notice the inside's red. You're going to notice when we open the Star Wars one that it is blue, and then of course we do have the handle here, a white handle. I think they all have white handles too. Here's the tray, and on the other side of the tray, yeah, this I didn't really do much to this, but you got these foot pegs so that a figure can stand, and I'll demonstrate that. So you can have like a dozen figures standing here with these foot pegs. It helps them stand. It works, gets the job done. Just kind of like that. It's a nice little feature they added to all of these so that you can have foot pegs and you can have a stand. If you're not storing them, you can be displaying. Only opening up one of these to see what's in it, and I'm not going to open all of them and show everything, but this is how I store my Ewoks, I guess. I mean, I haven't looked at these things in years, so it's just kind of a surprise to me how I stored this stuff and what's going on in here. And actually, I kind of want to clean each tray and all that, but that would take like 3 days because of the drying and all that. But yeah, this is how I store my Ewoks. So I got some space in here for more Ewoks. I might store some of the last 17 Ewoks in here, the ones I have overflow on, but I'm not sure yet. But I am planning a big display 2025 with Ewoks in it because I've got a lot of Ewok villages, and I was going to do an Ewok village kind of thing. Now I do want to show like a typical collector and typical collection. This is one that I bought from someone. This is how they would probably store it. You have this cardboard piece here, and then it shows where you should store your figures, I guess. And I think that one collector got pretty close to this if you look at kind of how he had it in there and the picture sheet here. He got it really close. So I don't even know what all these other parts are that he had in here. I just left it. A lot of times when I bought someone's collection in the past, I literally just left whatever extra stuff was in there and just didn't bother with it. But yeah, that's a way to store it. And I don't think there's much underneath here. Oh, yeah, there's a whole other one. Never mind. I wonder how close he got to the picture on this. Yeah, he got sort of close with the picture. I was getting in there somewhere. But yeah, a lot of fun to do that. Not sure where that sticker goes. But it's always interesting to see what you get when you buy collections. Next up is a space case, and if enough people are interested, I will show all of the Darth Vader heads. I mean, that'd be very time consuming, and all of these other soft cases. I got like 8 soft cases and six of each Vader and C-3PO head. I'm gonna show a couple of those though. I use this one for my size Snoodles, and what I want to point out is you saw that we had a hard Star Wars was hard plastic, and this is like that cheap cordial plastic, cordial cherries plastic. And it is very cheap, terrible. But anyway, I keep my extra band members in here. I got another couple of him with his whatever kind of instrument that he has. But yeah, kind of cool. Yes, I actually use a G.I. Joe collector case for storing some of my stuff. And I've got in here, ironically, they look like Joe figures, right? So in my mind, it made sense to have the indoor Rebel Trooper to be in here. And I think I got what I got on the bottom here, some IG-88s. Yeah, but that's that cheap crappy plastic that these, oddly enough, this is my best G.I. Joe case. I've got 5 of them, and it's the only one that doesn't have like completely cracked inner trays. These inner trays crack so easy, but yeah, fun way to store indoor Rebel Troopers. Oh, this is a Star Wars case video. But I store Star Wars in G.I. Joe cases. Whatever case they call this is where I keep these guys. And that's a lot of fun. So this is my favorite of all the troopers. I need to do a whitening session on these. I think I've whitened those. And I haven't whitened the rest. But I should whiten some because I want them to all look good. So there it is. Maybe one day I will. Next we're getting into the infamous Darth Vader case. Now, I'm going to tell you about this case. It is very sturdy. It works. It holds your figures. It's got a little compartment for your weapons and accessories. But I will also say that it is not very good at holding the figures in place. So as you move it around, you kind of open up, they fall out, and that's a problem. It's probably not the best for keeping your figures in good condition because they will kind of slam around in there. Against hard plastic or other figures and stuff. So with that, I still store them in it because it's just fun. It's how I did as a kid. And these figures aren't like mint and pristine in the greatest condition. So let's open this one up. I just randomly have one, and let's see how it opens up, and let's see what kind of mess it makes. I get one that actually holds together. I was wanting to see a crazy... We'll do one more in a minute. I was wanting to see a crazy mess, but this is kind of how I display this. I can get this down here, but this is kind of how I display or store my collection. So I got like some Lobots on this side and just kind of group the figures in there, and that's what I do. That's how I roll with this, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. And I've had a lot of fun going back through all of this, all these figures. But a couple of things. First of all, you get little stickers with it for you so you can put the names on there. Obviously, none of this stuff matches up, and it's not really conducive. The other thing about it is, as time went by, you had new characters, and sometimes you didn't have the sticker for them. So that was kind of a challenge, and kids didn't just get a brand new Darth Vader head every run. So there's that. And then we also have this little compartment over here on the other side for weapons and accessories, but I have no weapons and accessories in there, but that's where the compartment is. It was a good idea back in the day, and these were cheap, and they're still cheap, still abundant. You can still get Darth Vader heads all the time. Sometimes people even sell collections in the Darth Vader head. I'll try one more and see if they fall everywhere, just for fun. And I only do the top tab. I don't tab in these lower ones. I don't want to break them. All you need is really the top one anyway. This one held together too. Okay, I'm a little disappointed that they didn't fall everywhere. I'm actually kind of happy, but a little disappointed I couldn't showcase that. Next up, we have the C-3PO case. Now, it is kind of a gold back metallized C-3PO case. It's really cool. And when I first started collecting in the 90s, I knew about this, but never came across one. And I saw them on eBay and stuff, but I wasn't really buying on eBay in the early days. I was trying to get it all in person. And here's a tip. Back then, it would have been cheaper for me to buy it all on eBay and pay one shipping amount for you know, a big size collection instead of going and trying to buy everything for $5 a figure. Although I did start finding them for $1 a figure, but still, the case, when I finally got my first one, I was very impressed with the vac metal on it. Even if it's all kind of scratched up and chipped up and stuff, it's still a nice look to it. And it was just one of those things I never had as a kid. I never knew anyone that had the C-3PO case, except for, you know, a friend of mine, Jason, up the street, just hoarded the stuff. But let's go ahead and look at it on the inside. All right, we're gonna see if this thing opens up. And okay. Oh, hey, yeah, this is a good one. See, I don't actually know which one I'm opening when I open them, but this is the. Let me flip it around. It's the C-3PO case. Okay, so we got the C-3PO case here, and I got most of these figures for $1. Some I had to pony up to $5, and I did have a hard time getting, oddly enough, the removable limbs versions together. Those were kind of hard. Still kind of hard. Anyway, this is a culmination of 2 decades of looking at C-3POs at toy shows or anywhere I was and trying to get them for about $1, maybe $5 at the most. But I will show one feature on this. Over here is where you have weapon storage. I'm getting in the way of the light too, but and there's a little spot for weapons. Not very much, but they did incorporate it in. Now we're going to show a revised one they did in the 90s and how I don't think you have that anymore. We'll find out. We'll check out the other one. But yeah, this is the C-3PO case. Really kind of cool, kind of fun, and makes a lot of sense to have C-3POs in a C-3PO case. So in the 90s, they made these cases again. They made the Darth Vader case again, exactly the same. They made the C-3PO case again, exactly the same. I actually think they had the mold still. The one thing is we didn't get this back metallized, so they added electronics, which is in the 90s, we started getting some really cool electronics added in. And I don't know if you can hear all this, but so he says those phrases, my batteries are kind of low. You have to understand, I probably replaced these 8 years ago, and so they're still working from 8 years ago, which is great. But kind of cool case, same thing, but let's look at the inside. All right, so here we go with kind of how it looks on the inside. Now I want to show over here real quick that there's the electronics box, and they took out any storage in that section of the head to put the electronics box in. Would you have liked to have stored more figures in it? Well, it's really inefficient at storing figures in the head anyway, as you can see with the knee nums or 9 nums, depending on how you want to say it. I say knee num, but with that, that's how they fit in there. I kind of like to put them in there. Some of them could go sideways. Well, I guess you could say I'm cramming them in there, but having a lot of fun cramming them in there. So there's 2 more collector cases that I have, but I can't get to them right now, and I can just show pictures of them and be as good as having them in hand anyway. But it is, number 1, the blaster rifle collector case. I guess it's a Stormtrooper blaster. Is that what it is? Or an indoor blaster? Anyhow, it's a blaster rifle collector case. I never really understood everything about it. And I have one, but I don't do anything with it. And it's just too cumbersome. It doesn't store very well. But it's an interesting idea because it's kind of like a role-play toy at the same time as it being a collector's case. And you can fit a lot of figures in there. And I'm sure there's a compartment or something for the weapons and accessories, and I have not spent much time with mine doing much of anything with it other than, hey, it's cool, I got it. The other one is the Chewbacca bandolier, and that one isn't really a case. It's just a strange concoction that Kenner came up with where you, as a kid, can put this around your chest as a strap like Chewbacca did and plug your figures into it. That would have never appealed to me as a kid. It didn't appeal to me as a kid. And as an adult collector, I've only picked them up if I can find them real cheap. I think it's weird. I actually just think it's really weird. But it's part of history, so got to talk about it. I've shown this in a video before, but I've got it a little more organized now. But I don't store my weapons and accessories in the cases. I probably should pair up some of these, like the Ewoks and all that kind of stuff. But anyhow, I store them in a bag, and then I've kind of organized them a little bit since then, but I guess I'll show how I keep that organized. I guess that'd be helpful, but okay, literally I just sort of organized it recently. They were just all loose sitting in there, but I got some capes and stuff, and get all that out of the way. But I got a little baggie of like lightsabers, and I know all this is original because as I was buying it, I kept the original stuff separate from whatever was reproduction. And then there's all this still kind of loose. I still haven't baggied up all these, but some of the stuff, just weapons and stuff that don't really go with what I've already bagged up. But I actually could put this, I can bag that one up. Alright, so sort of straightening it up a little bit, this would be kind of a baggie of maybe some of the harder blasters and stuff to get, like Leia blasters and stuff. The smaller ones are always the ones that you lose first. This is all of the staffs. Non-Ewok staffs. So, yeah, I got that organized like that. Then we got, these must be IG-88 and Snowtrooper blasters. Believe it or not, I should have like 10 times this to cover what I need to complete my stuff. So I don't have nearly enough to complete my stuff. These are just the standard Stormtrooper blasters, blue and black. This is Han Solo blasters. Definitely not enough of these because there's used for all these other figures. Lots of them use it. And then I got my Ewok stuff. So I really need to outfit my Ewoks for my display for this. And so I was going through seeing where I'm at and what I need, but I've got enough to do the display. And then these I think are like Hoth, Rebel Soldier, and then something else. Then I don't really get this, and I never paid attention to it, but the Bespin blaster, this gray one, is that a hard one to get or something? Because I only have one. And then I've got some more of these. These all are Cloud Car Pilot. This is something like that. Anyway, it's kind of fun to go through this and just see where I'm at and what I've got, but I don't have nearly enough weapons to cover my figures, so it does kind of suck. It's kind of a reality check because I thought I had more than this. Alright, so let me know what you think about these collector cases, and do you have these? Do you store them like this? Is this a case where you'd never store your Star Wars figures in these things? But I'm just curious what everyone thinks about these out there. Do you have the different ones? Do you chase down variations on collector cases like the Star Wars Empire and Return of the Jedi? And do you use just the cheap ones just to get it done because they're cheap and easy to get? Let me know in the comments below, like and subscribe, and Titanium Hanger out.